Motorsports Podcast, the podcast where we talk about racing and know nothing about racing. So that's kind of interesting, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
It's always good to pretend like you know what you're talking about.
Yes, fake it till you make it. It was a busy weekend, and before we get into that, I guess some of the places you can check us out are Facebook, Wide World of Motorsports, Twitter, which is at the WWOMS, Instagram, WWOMS, and then
on Instagram, the WWOMS.
the W. See, I always forget the. I don't know why. Too bad it wasn't the same. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
True.
And you can get us on the internet, of course, at WordPress.thewideworldofmotorsports.com. No, thewideworldofmotorsports.wordpress.com. There we go. Just go to Facebook. That's where most of our stuff ends up. But, we had a good weekend of racing. We had a lot of racing, actually. We had IndyCar in Alabama. We had IMSA at Laguna Seca. We had NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series at Dover. And I think that was it. I don't know. Was there anything else that you saw on, or did you watch any of this stuff before we get into it heavily? Did you watch any of any of these races?
I wish I was able. There are a lot of people probably wish they're able to get off work on Monday to be able to watch Dover, but that's what happens when you get a rain delay, I guess. Right? Is like yourself, you have the MRN broadcast up, and you kind of just deal with that, or maybe you're sneaking off to the side, and you got the app up, the NASCAR app up, and you're listening through there, watching the onboard through there. So maybe or so as people putting those live updates up, you just got to read it through Twitter once in a while, right? So
right. So
sometimes that's what you got to do during those races that are caused by rain delays. Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, yes, I was able to as well listen to the race at work today. What I was doing, I was able to have headphones in, and I was about 15 minutes late from the beginning of it, and I thought, oh yeah, the race, and I put it on, and it was great. Actually, more this year than I ever have in the past. I've tuned into MRN. And I love it. I think it's great. I actually feel they do a better job at describing and being more real about what's happening on the racetrack than in the broadcast booth. But so, did you get to see anything else this weekend? You get to see any IndyCar or IMSA?
Yeah, it was. It was really nice to see IMSA again.
Let's talk about
especially at WeatherTech Laguna Seca.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because you and I, before we
one
get
of my
into
favorite
the race,
tracks.
And you and I had a little IMSA time on iRacing that, for me, was a terrible event. But we were trying to get into that IMSA, that spirit. I felt I learned quite a bit about what the race was going to be like from the race that we did. And actually we got to see that in the race, but anyways, we'll get to that. How did your race on iRacing go at WeatherTech?
It was good. It was fun. It's always fun to do that on iRacing and then watch it on TV that same weekend, because then you get the idea of the track, and it's just nice to get an idea of what's going to go on strategy-wise as well. You get an idea of how they got to run with other cars as well as within traffic. Unfortunately, maybe for some of us on iRacing, we're not able to run with those other cars, but
the prototypes.
Those prototype cars. It's just a LGT for us, but in real life.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know. That track is so tight and congested I don't know if I'd want to run with prototypes. You know, with how bad my GT race went, I felt the track was really. I don't know. I felt the track was really narrow, and I don't know why I felt that more than previous times that I've driven on the track. Now, obviously, when we were doing that, we drove the Lamborghini GT3, and I guess all the other times that I race on that track, I typically am in the Miata or the Formula V. And those are very small, and that track seems very big, and you're not going very fast. But I felt like it was just really tight, and I just couldn't navigate it.
Well, iRacing is, pretty realistic to the real life. So when we saw it on the real life side of things, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, we saw a few cars just kind of going right off track, just actually
Philippe
doing the exact stuff that happens, where you just catch your tire off a little bit and it snaps you, or going right off at the kink because you catch too much curb, or which is kind of cool. I mean, it makes it feel like we're actually being race drivers, which we know we're not, but to see that.
How about Wayne Taylor Racing and Philippe Albuquerque, and Ricky Taylor with their win? Obviously, something to expect, but there's just something that car looks so much nicer at Laguna Seca. There's just something about it that I was like, I was liking the looks of that car this weekend. And then how about Juan Pablo Montoya in the LMP2 class, with a couple of his fib ups, but always good to see Juan Pablo race. And and obviously, how about Faf in the GTDs? Yeah,
I mean, with Wayne Taylor racing, winning in the Acura, they did good. Actually, they were good all weekend. They had a slow start to the weekend. This track was pegged to be an Acura track, or actually the Mazda 2, but they went off actually at the kink and put it in the barrier. But the track, for whatever reason, really did suit those Acuras, and we got to see an amazing, last 20-minute battle between Ricky drove it to the end with Ricky,
right,
and Tom Blomqvist in the Meyer-Shank Racing Acura 60. It was actually fascinating to watch them. They both navigated through the traffic extremely well. They both navigated through an LMP2 battle, which was fun to watch the entire race. I mean, there was a point that they were all in line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in line. They were matching, braking point for braking point, steering input for steering. It was incredible to watch. But those Acuras were definitely the class of the field. Although it's hard to say, because at the beginning of the race, Sebastian Bourdais with the Chip Ganassi 01 Cadillac, who were the winners in Long Beach not 2 weeks ago, they were out real early and with an electrical gremlin. So, I mean, whatever that means, they probably don't even know what that means. So they were out pretty early, and I feel that they are always a contender. So to not have that muscle of Chip Ganassi, which I think they've really established themselves as a DPI team this year. It might have been a different race, but it was interesting to see that issue, and I'm curious if they'll get it fixed. Yeah, Juan is Juan. I don't think we can expect anything else from him.
Always good to see.
He's still a great driver. He's still he's still on the money and on pace. I think he's just more susceptible to making a little fib up like that. And then, of course, the Canadian heroes, the homegrown Motorsports winning in GTD Pro. That's awesome. That's her second win this year. after their disastrous, unbelievable, 1 in a billionth chance of getting knocked out of the race. I don't know if I believe I shared it. I don't know if you and I talked about the wheel nut coming off the
Oh, right.
Corvette and taking out
Yeah.
the FAF Porsche. I mean, unbelievable. And here they come to WeatherTech and win, which is awesome. Drivers Matthew Gemini and Matty Campbell both are phenomenal factory Porsche drivers. I'm really impressed with this team. This team a few years ago was just a Porsche Cup, a Porsche GT3 Cup team, and their dealership where we live, and they have really taken big steps to move up the ladder of IMSA, actually move up the ladder that IMSA built for this. So they're doing the exact thing. And, last year they ran a car in LM or GTLM, which doesn't exist anymore, but they've still decided to run in GTD Pro, which is fantastic. And you can see that they're reaping the rewards by winning. And then Porsche on a roll, winning in GTD AM with Wright Motorsports and Jan Halen and Ryan Hardwick. So there was a hard battle there too. This race is a great race. There was a lot going on.
There was a few different yellows.
Yeah, there was battles all over the place.
Lots of off tracks.
Lots of
some
tracks,
X's there.
Lots of off tracks, but
just in a nice 2-hour 40.
Remember when I commented to you though, like one of the cars goes off, and instead of just throwing the caution flag and screwing it all up, they wait.
It was just
okay.
Good.
Well, okay. There's
nice
not a lot of cars coming,
which I guess you can. Yeah.
And then okay, if they don't
do at WeatherTech
anything. Yeah, you can do that. I know you can't do that at an oval, but I feel like NASCAR just throws a yellow for.
Well, even at a road course, they do that. But
yeah, I know. Yes.
Next up for IMSA WeatherTech is another 2-hour 40 at Mid Ohio in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So they got to haul butt back across country.
The LMP3 returns, but GTD Pro won't be a part back of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship until the 6 hours of the Glen at the end of June.
Yeah.
So FAF has a good going into the break there. They have a good approach into that, and
they'll come back.
That's obviously the Glen. With the Glen, they'll have a good run there, and I'm sure Moss Sports is right around the corner at that point, right? So that's the next week.
It's a week away,
right? Yeah. With Mid Ohio coming up in a couple weeks, any just quick?
No, Mid Ohio's great. It's a fun track. The start finish line is not this finish line. They are in 2 different spots, so that is a unique characteristic to Mid Ohio, and the prototypes are I love watching them race there. So it'll be a good,
especially if weather's a factor.
Yeah, if weather,
a tricky course.
Yeah, because it's tight. So it's tight, and you don't have any paved runoff. It's just grass. So,
as we've seen in some NASCAR races in years past.
Yeah, it's just ice at that point. So excited for that.
All the while during that race, there was before that actually it was IndyCar.
Oh, you want to go? Go IndyCar?
That was a nice back to back there.
It was, and for me, Barbara Motorsports Park is one of my I love that track. I think it's so cool. It's beautiful. It just, I've raced on it in iRacing.
That's the one with the little spider, so the metal spider, right?
Yes, I think so.
In one of the turns, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And it's just got this cool downhill little chicane S where there's always action, and there was in the race. This race was the best IndyCar race this year for sure. I think I enjoyed it
Wow.
immensely.
The big
Eh,
is Ray Hall and Grosjean
which
coming
was
out of that.
nothing, which was so
Right.
nothing and
That's
stupid,
all the big talk
and
today.
I don't know why they're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's so funny to watch that. Grosjean's so good. He is a great driver, and he is taken to IndyCar phenomenally, and and he should. But he races in IndyCar like he's racing in Formula One,
Right.
and those rules don't apply here. It's different, and he's this is, I think, what, this is his second year.
Yeah.
It's the second year, so that dust up was nothing. They bumped each other, and then turned into him, or didn't turn into him, but he just didn't release his hands, or he released his hands. He didn't hold his hand, like hold the steering wheel. He just let the car drift out into him, because he says that he cut him off some corners
Right.
back.
But they weren't.
But,
There was words on radio and on the on post race interviews and whatnot. They're obviously and on Twitter too. There's not.
Ray Hall called him a punk.
Not a whole lot of love lost between those guys. Which, hey, you know what? That stuff's good going on into the next races, and but other stuff too that Barber, other takeaways too that we can take from Skippy. With Pato.
The race was just this. The race from head to toe was amazing. There were battles everywhere. There were strategy battles. There was on-track battles. There was teammate battles. There was bumping and spins, and Jimmy got run into by,
of course,
Elio Castroneves, and Elio got a penalty for it. And then there was some other contact between.
That was a Renus. How about Renus, who led 57 to 90 of that?
I know, and that's what made like Pato's win really good and kind of amazing. They sat on the front row together, and then Pato made this amazing move on the outside with cold. They both came out of the pits. They went into the pits together, nose to tail. Renus pulled in, Pato pitted in front of him. Renus pulls out. Pato pulls out right behind him. And then as they come out of the pit, they're just on cold tires. And Pato was just better.
How about willpower?
I got to watch Pato race in IMSA when he raced in Prototype Challenge. So I've got to watch him like rise up and rise up and rise up. And he was phenomenal then, and I mean phenomenal in that Prototype Challenge car. The fastest kid on the track, seriously. Yeah. And he's just proving it. Will Powers
turned around his season, that's for sure.
Yes, he did. He really needed this win, and it was fantastic. Will Powers doing really good.
From 19th to 4th.
I mean, he's got a new fire inside of him, and
he was the best out of his Penske teammates this weekend.
He was, and I think the fire lit under him and is now inside of him.
Took him a couple to get going.
He's got it because there's Scott and Joseph. Joseph's won 2 championships. Scott, I would safe to say that Scott's probably going to win an IndyCar championship at some point, maybe this year. But Will's definitely going to have something to say about it. Scott Dixon had a good day. He finished 5th.
6-time
13th.
Old 6-time. No.
Yeah, old 6-time. Colton Herta, he would probably be my other really big standout for the day. That kid drove the wheels off his car and then got into a little tussle with, I believe That might have been Roman or Scott McLaughlin. I'm not too sure. I forget. But he was running good, fast. He was really fast most of the day. Up front most of the day. He didn't lead any laps, of course, but he was up front. But I'm just saying, man, from, just even drivers down in the back, it was good.
Oh yeah, the series returns to the action on May 14th at the Indianapolis Road Course, and they're off as well, obviously because of F1's debut race next Sunday. A lot of drivers to be headed out there. You'll see there's be a lot of people, a lot of big names. I'm sure you'll see at the F1 race at Miami coming a week. Actually, I'm really pumped for that. Who knows what we're going to see for the F1 race heading on to the streets of Miami. I'm pumped. Miami, one of my favorite places to go. Like, I love Miami, and to see, that big jump for F1, venturing into somewhere new like that. Different market, that's for sure. So
I know, and they're adding a third one next year.
Yeah, so
3.
I'm excited for
crazy.
it. We could easily go see it
from nothing. We should.
So it's from where, you from under just a couple $100, you can fly there.
It's crazy to think like how out of touch F1 was from the I'm going to say American market, not North American market. I would say more American market, and how much they've wanted to be back in it, and they go to,
which is awesome because that's kind of us.
Like, boom, 3, and it's like, what? We're at 3 tracks.
Same with really? Vegas. It's easy to get to as well. For a lot of people, Vegas. These are 2 main places that you can get to easily. Miami and Vegas. Both probably number 1, number 2 top U.S. tourist destinations. So I'm not surprised at all either there. It's not only could be just an American thing, but also a world destination too, where people from all over the world can easily get there. And I'm excited for that. And we're going to see. Obviously, a lot of people are complaining that there's just walls and there's not enough room for the cars, but I don't care. I'm a race fan. I'm excited to see it for next weekend. But going back to the Cup, which was whatever. So we're watching I'm watching the end of the IMSA race, getting a little snoozy because I'm waiting for the Cup race to get back going. But no, the rain did not stay away, and we were unfortunately with a track with lights. But there was a lot of rain in the forecast on the way, and there was probably no way they're going to get it anyway. But still, and I'm not a big guy either about the late afternoon starts, but these are situations where some of the time before the race could really be utilized if there's any possible way to do that. If there's weather on the way. It doesn't take a genius to know when that was going to come, but I'm not a big guy. I know that's a big topic on the social media.
So the issue with doing like moving, just say the race started at
a lot of people won't be there
3:30. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move it up.
Yeah, that's crappy. 12. We don't want that either, right?
Yeah, and then all the people who paid so we can watch it on TV,
which is us, the fans. We the fans.
We the fans don't.
That's our new hashtag. Hashtag we the fans. So that's we're putting that up actually. But yeah, so with that delay, and I remember a few years ago, it doesn't happen all the time. I remember I was thinking today, like how many times I've had to like do this, like when I'm at work and there's a race. Like how many times have I had to like pop up the like.
I remember school.
Most people, honestly, let's be honest. Yeah, school too. Maybe you could get the day off.
Right, because NASCAR starts in February, right? So there's a lot of school.
There is totally
between there and June,
and at the end of the NASCAR season too, right? And at the September, end of the October, so there and some of the Americans that start in August, right?
And I remember 1 year, I don't know what race it was, but we ended up they got rain delayed. And
it
ended up being a snow day the next day.
Oh, perfect.
So I was able to watch.
Perfect.
But
yeah, I don't remember. Like I don't remember many years where I had to miss a race, and especially if it's when you're at work trying to, like, let's be honest, let's be real here. Most people out here, props to you if you have a job where you can enjoy a NASCAR race. But a lot of people are in a situation where you have to, like, you
I
have to.
appreciate that.
Well,
I appreciate your props.
no, you're the person that has to, because there's a lot of people down south that, like, the race is just on their FM on MRN or whatever, and they're listening to it at work. That's a different thing, I think, because we listen to music at work too. Like, people do that, right? I think that's one thing, but sneaking like watching parts of the race in the bathroom or going off to the little side room or on your break, that's a big commitment too. So a lot of that in play today for a lot of fans, and that's understandable. It's tough when you got a 12 o'clock Monday race, but we try, damn it. And I try, I'm watching a tire. I can report to you that a lot of tires fell off the cars this race, and it sucks to see what happened to Dinger with his little deal there.
Even Denny.
Yes, Denny with his tire almost beating him off pit road.
I kind of actually feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, sure.
He should have won that race. I mean, that was his race.
Chase led 73 of the 400 laps, though. The ones that mattered.
That's right. That's true.
He had a 26 race winless streak. He was able to finally break that streak, and he's joining his Hendrick teammates with a win this season. So it's not like there's going to be any cloud of, he hasn't got a win or whatever. So there's going to be none of that, which is good. Right. So it's good to see Chase up there getting some success. It was looking concerning for some of the Chase fans. I felt for them out there. But, his second win at the Monster Mile is obviously, he's got a little bit of a thing there. And
what was that? Hendrick's 22nd win at the Monster Mile?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're obviously good there. But yeah, Kyle crazy. Busch too is another guy there we can name that was up there.
Cranky Kyle.
And he had Ryan Blaney with his second stage win. So even though he didn't run so well later on,
through brilliant strategy.
Right. Yeah, and if you're going through for those stage points, which sometimes you might end up needing to fall back on. It was a brilliant situation where you might as well go for those stage points.
Yeah.
But so another weird thing is we're trying to, like, also, while we're during the race, it's weird because I'm seeing guys go down and I'm like, oh, these are guys that some of these guys I'm picking, like, I thought I picked Hamlin.
Well, hold on. You're getting into the fantasy? No.
I'm just saying. I was going through. That's another interesting thing too. Is at work, it's like your fantasy league. You're thinking about your picks. It's funny.
Yeah, I did that. I did the exact same thing. Yes, I'm like, oh my God, wrecked, damn it. I had him. Like when Larson spun out, even though he came back, I was like, oh no, my God. And then I pulled out my phone and I looked and he wasn't there.
They came back from that too good, eh?
Yeah, he did. He
did.
I mean, Young Money.
Just patched that up. It was fine.
Ross was the other.
Ross is going to be a championship contender. I think he's shown he's got a piece of the cup.
It's unbelievable. You know what?
I'm sure he'll have a few races where I'm sure like he'll have like
he's got to have a bad race.
He'll have a streak. He'll have probably a few bad races like everyone has.
Right.
And not like we're trying to oversell him or anything like that. But it's just, of course, evidently he's doing great right now.
Oh, the whole team is. We can't just say it's
Statistically,
Ross. I
the
mean, the whole
stats are
team.
there, right? Yeah.
The whole team is doing fantastic. I mean, Daniel Suarez has just had
Danny is trying to do his best.
work, terrible luck.
Terrible.
Like I just can't believe how bad his luck is, but you know, it is what it is. But
I can't believe how many races
he was really
also
impressive.
too
You know,
season.
Justin Haley was impressive too, until he had a tire issue as well. You know, it was funny to listen to the comments from for Bowman. Sorry, after the race, I kept listening, of course, and they interviewed the drivers, and you know, she asked Bowman how his race was or something like that, and he said, "Oh, it was good, blah 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 blah." But he goes, "We didn't need that last caution, which really messed everything up." He said, he said in not so many words, "We're having a lot of problems with these tires that aren't the problem, but might be the problem." I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Cindric's
So
having
he
some
called it the
problems
tire.
too, eh?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It's interesting because I don't think Alex doesn't really say a whole lot like that, does he? Is that typically Alex?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But anyway, so it's interesting to hear his comments about the tires. It'll be interesting to see.
I
what
came
NASCAR
out. I came out
does.
up ahead though.
I know you finished second with the fantasies, didn't you, in that race?
No, first.
You won that?
Won that week.
Nice.
I'm the winner of that week in the WOMS, the Wide World of Motorsports Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com website. You can join our fantasy league. Just search it up and join. Winner gets a prize.
That's awesome. That's fine.
So for Dover, for week 11 of our WOMS NASCAR fantasy results, yours truly at 220 points I got out of that. Slick Seth, he must have made his picks this week. Or maybe there's a couple weeks where I thought he didn't, because he didn't have a couple good weeks. Now he's second this week, 216 points. Michael Wallace Racing, number 3, 199. Dirty Joe, 195. You guys were close in that one. Ty Parker with 138 points. Pepe Racing, maybe 112 points, not good. And Wounded Duck Motorsports, 68 points. I wonder if those guys made their picks.
I don't think Thomas made his picks.
Oh man, we gotta get Thomas back into it. Well, for the most part, our guys are doing it, which is good. So for our overall points, though, that puts Michael Wallace up there with number 1 on the top. Number 2 with
whoa! I'm leading the points.
You are leading the overall league standings in the WOMS.
No way! I didn't look at that because I didn't think they would have been updated yet.
You're with 1,860 points. I am with 1,799. Wounded Duck Motorsports, though, he's still up there with 1,789. Close with me, close with Slick Seth at 1,784 points. Dirty Joe, 1,726. Ty Parker and Pepe down there with just below 1,600. So, hey, you know, a lot of, I was just saying, though, we're week 11. We're a lot of racing to go, but we've also had some races as well to work in some of our points. So I have a even spread on my starts on a lot of my guys. So, you know, from my perspective, I'm sitting nice. But maybe some other guys, maybe they got to start using some of their big guys. They're gonna start looking into maybe using up some of their big guys early.
I've used some of my big guys up pretty early, but I'm confident that
I'd love to get some of our guys on and league on as well. I'd like to get them on the show, and yeah, that'd be awesome. But hey, you know what? we'll have it for the next week. Going into where are we racing next week?
Darlington
Throwback Week. So that's going to be real sick. Going into that, you got to pick another Hemlin again, right? Like you want to pick those main guys, but hey, you got a guy you could end up getting like another Reddick or Chastain up there.
Chastain's hot, man. He could. I wouldn't be surprised.
Smashing some watermelon, you think, at Darlington? We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll get those picks in, folks. Join the Wide World of Motorsports Fantasy League on NASCAR.com, Fantasy Games. And hey, also check us out on social media, Facebook and Twitter. You can check out our handle. It's at the WWOMS, and on our Instagram as well, the WWOMS. Can't forget the Insta, as Wallace is now working up the Insta for us, so that's good.
Trying to.
Email us at thewideworldofmotorsports@gmail.com, and you can also check us out, the Wide World of Motorsports podcast.wordpress.com. We try to upload as much as we can there. Database of podcasts and articles, as well as our esports team action with our iRacing fun stuffs. We try to have some fun stuffs on iRacing once in a while. And also, on your favorite streaming platform, the Wide World of Motorsports podcast is on. Just got to check it out. And we're still on the Wiley Region Podcast Hour on 102.7 Radio Wiley CKMS monthly. So awesome. And so there's some more stuff brewing up as well. We got coming down the pipes. So keep it. Just keep up on our social, folks. Drop us a line and we'll give you a shout. How does that sound, Wallace? How's that sound? What does that sound like to you? Does that sound good?
Sounds amazing.
Sounds good to me,
amazing
man.
job.
Hey, let's wrap
like
this
you
up.
deserve
Man.
a raise.
Yeah, damn right. All right, man. That wraps it up for this. We'll see you all around the band, folks.
Adios.